These three companies, $100,000 portfolio, but here's why I picked them. And it's not what most gurus will tell you. This simple strategy could save you from losing everything like I did later. Here's what every investment expert gets wrong. They tell you to diversify into companies you don't understand. To me, that's crazy. Warren Buffett says never invest in companies you don't understand. And he's worth $100 billion. I only invested in companies that I use every single day. Let me show you exactly which ones and why. And if you stick around to the end, I'll give you a bonus. By the way, if you want to see my complete investment strategy and how I research stocks, I have a free community where I break down everything. Link is in the description below, or comment grand and I'll send you the link. So here are the three companies that helped me build a $100,000 stock portfolio and why I chose each of them. The first is Apple. I invested $28,000 of my hard-earned money into this company. And here's why. I've been using Apple products since about 2014. When the first iPhone dropped, I got it. The iPod Touch, I got it. And I just found myself just continuously buying Apple products. I went from buying one laptop to a second laptop, a third laptop, getting my wife a laptop. And it just became where I was like, man, I'm always buying Apple products. When a new phone came out, I was getting the latest one. That was my introduction to Apple's ecosystem. It was so simple you couldn't screw it up. And the longevity in these products are absolutely amazing. So I really stood behind the brand in terms of reliability and durability. Plus, the iPhone has one of the best cameras out there. I'm using one right now to record this video. So because I'm always using Apple products hardware-wise, so I said, why not invest in a company that I know, like, and trust? When they released iPhone, the iPad, the iPod Touch, the market went absolutely crazy for it. When I first started to learn about the stock market, Apple was a $200 stock. I seen Apple go from $200 to $1,100 in less than a year. So I said, I need to own this. And here's a key thing that I did to help me get to $28,000 worth of shares in Apple. I made it a family strategy. I did group economics. So whenever I got paid, I put that into Apple stocks. My children got birthday money, it went to that. If we found money or money that we weren't expecting, we put that into an account, and every month we were buying Apple shares regardless of the price. They call that dollar cost averaging, if you're wondering. The second one I invested in was Google, and I put about roughly $7,000 into them. I use Google religiously because I'm always searching for something, whether it's on YouTube or Google Chrome. I also use Google Drive and Gmail. When Microsoft started charging people for Excel and Word, it was easy for me to just make the switch to Google. They said, hey, free. So I said, me, I like free. Nowadays, everybody has a Gmail. Also, when I switched from Apple to Samsung, it was a Google operating system. Everything that I used was Google related. Google was considered a growth stock and the price just kept getting higher and higher and higher. When Google announced they're doing a 20-to-1 stock split, meaning every one share that you have, you're gonna get 19 additional shares on top of it. So I said to myself, I just need one to get 20. Why not? So I bought two and it turned into 40. Because it's split, it does not mean that I'm getting more for what I purchased. It just means I'm getting more shares. So when the price starts to go up, I have more shares, and if I decide to sell some, I can just layer off some and still have some. So it doesn't affect the actual price. It just makes it cheaper. It makes it look more affordable to retail traders, aka me and you. The third pick was Amazon, and I put about $7,000 into them as well. I bought it because anything that you want, you can find it on Amazon. I'm always buying books on Amazon because bookstores are not carrying the books that I'm looking for. At the time, my wife was a Prime member and she was always buying baby stuff on there. So I said, why not buy where we shop? Fun fact, me and Jeff Bezos are born on the same day. But no, that's not why I bought the stock. Quick reminder, if you want to learn my complete stock research process and see my actual portfolio breakdown, make sure to grab my free resources. Link is in the description or comment grand below. All these companies were chosen based off of things that I use on an everyday basis. Companies that I understood and recognized. I didn't pick companies that were just gonna be like the next biggest thing, right? Because if I don't understand it or I can't explain to my child, then I'm not buying it. It doesn't make sense for me. Mind you, not everything that you understand is a good buy, so you have to do your research. My research process is simple. Do I understand this company? How they make money? If I understand those two things, I keep learning about the company and doing more research on them. I read their financial reports and see what they're actually doing with their money and how they're allocating it. I kept up to date with news around the companies, watch CNBC, Yahoo.Finance, and setting up alerts. I also bought other companies that I believed in, much smaller positions though. But my main portfolio were those three companies and the bonus one that I'm gonna give to you right now. And it was Tesla. I seen the vision that Tesla had when they said, hey, let's go electric. But not only that, when I started doing my research behind Tesla, not only were they doing cars, They were doing battery packs for homes, the solar panels. Elon Musk now has the rocket ship that's going to be going to and from Mars. Starlinks, he has a whole network of things. If you really look at what he's trying to do, he's creating his whole infrastructure to have life on a whole different planet. The robots, the cars, the electricity, how we communicate with the satellites. If you didn't know, he owns the most satellites in space. So to me, that was crazy. I was like, why not invest in this guy's vision? And now look where he is. He's the richest person in the world. So again, I was picking stocks that I completely understand. And when you invest in what you know, you sleep better at night. When the market crashes, you don't panic sell. Why? Because you believe in these companies. That's your key moment where you're getting these stocks at a discount. Look, building a $100 portfolio doesn't mean looking for the next hottest stock tip. Investing is about companies that you understand and that you value. And for the most part, for me, it was stuff that I use on a daily basis. If you want to see my complete investment strategy, how I research stocks, and get my actual portfolio breakdown, join my free community. Link is in the description or comment Grand and I'll send you the link directly. You can watch this video next on my biggest mistakes that you should avoid. Your future self will thank you for starting today.